Wow, your boy, French Han Montana, has gone all the way in on 59 Cent, otherwise known as 50 Cent. Exposed him for being a snitch, and trust me, if I was any 50 Cent fans out there, turn this video off now. He's about to be exposed as a snitch. French Montana said the following, true story, tell the world how you paid for the rights to Tekashi69's life story. You thought I wasn't going to find out. Now why would you go and do that? Knowing the people already said you was the biggest rodent in the whole of New York. Rat. Like father, like son. Everybody go under his page and put the rat emoji. Can't bully a grown ass man. 59. Now, that in itself isn't too bad. However, I started doing some preliminary investigations into 50 Cent's judiciary history, and I've uncovered some not very good things for your boy 50. Anyway, let's take it from the top then. This is off of 50 Cent's Wikipedia page. On June 29th, 1994, Jackson was arrested for selling 4 vials of cocaine to an undercover police officer. He was arrested again 3 weeks later when police searched his home and found heroin, 10 ounces of crack cocaine, and a starter pistol, although Jackson was sentenced only to 3 to 9 years in prison, of which he served 6 months in a boot camp, where he earned his high school equivalency diploma. You what? Wait there a minute. How can this grown-ass man be caught with 10 ounces of crack cocaine alone and only receive a 6-month boot camp, aka a club fed? This man was chilling out at high school, basically, doing a 6-month diploma. How does that work when we know for a fact there are minimum sentencing guidelines? Now, I've done some research. The minimum sentencing guidelines for 10 ounces of crack cocaine is 10-year mandatory minimum, because 10 ounces is equal to 280 grams, if my maths is correct. And the mandatory minimum for 50 to 280 grams is 10 years. So 50 Cent was nearly in the upper bound. If he had any more than 10 ounces, he'd have been in the band above that, probably 15 or 20 years mandatory minimum. That's what I'm just, don't shoot the messenger here. I'm reading what's on the screen. The bottom line is, in 1994, when he was arrested, the mandatory minimum for 10 ounces of cocaine, crack cocaine, was 10 years. How was your boy doing 6 months of high school? Explain that. Especially when this wasn't his first time he was caught. He was caught 3 weeks earlier with cocaine. So you get caught with cocaine, then you get caught again 3 weeks later with 10 ounces of crack. Everyone else is doing 10 years in the pen, minimum, by the way, minimum. But your boy Curtis Jackson's out of jail after 6 months of high school. And I've checked his age as well. He was 19 at the time of this conviction. So he weren't no 15-year-old. In fact, besides, I've heard of 15-year-olds getting the life penalty, getting death penalties, or life in jail for murders and whatnot. So that's irrelevant anyway. He was 18-year-old, a grown-ass hardback man. Someone please explain to me how you beat mandatory minimums. The only other person I know who's beat mandatory minimums is who? Your boy Tekashi69. Yeah? And what did he do? He snitched. Now, I might be wrong, but all I need to know is, how has 50 Cent avoided mandatory minimums? There's a reason they're called mandatory minimums, because no matter what excuse you've got, you're going to get minimum 10 years. In fact, there's been cases where judges have really felt sorry, or really felt there's been extenuating circumstances for some of the criminals, but based on the minimum system, they haven't been able to give them any less. So how is 50 Cent rocked in at 18, 19 years old and managed to avoid a 10-year minimum jail sentence and get 6 months? And when you think about it, that was vital to his career. If he'd have been in jail from 1994 to 2004, he never would have had his career, most likely. So like I said, this don't look too good for your boy 5'9". It's not looking good for him at all. And that there isn't the end. He's also got some other somewhat minor charges, but we'll read them out anyway. Jackson and 4 members of his entourage were arrested shortly before 2 a.m. on December 31st, 2002, when police found a 25 caliber handgun and a 45 caliber pistol in a parked car outside a Manhattan nightclub. The rapper was charged with 2 counts of criminal possession of a weapon. Furthermore, Jackson was sentenced to 2 years probation on July 22nd, 2005 for a May 2004 incident when he was charged with 3 counts of assault and battery after jumping into an audience when he was hit by a water bottle. So, what you'll notice is there's a string of events here. He gets caught with 10 ounces of crack cocaine. He gets caught with cocaine. He gets caught with heroin. He gets caught with a starter pistol and he gets 6 months. Then he goes on, gets charged with 2 counts of criminal possession of a weapon, serves no time. So he serves 6 months of high school for the first crime, when he should be getting minimum 10 years. For his second crime, he don't serve no time. And the third crime, he serves 2 years probation. And that's for 3 counts of assault and battery. Come on now. Mate, I need to get 50 Cent's lawyer. And that's another thing, by the way. Before people jump in and start saying, well, 50 Cent had high-powered lawyers. Number one, 6ix9ine had high-powered lawyers, and he's still doing time. 6ix9ine's done more time than 50 Cent has. I thought 50 Cent was meant to be some big gangster. That's what I thought. I could have sworn he talked about being locked up. He ain't never been in jail in his life. He went to high school for 6 months. That's it. And like I said, it's got nothing to do with his lawyers, because his big charge, when he got caught with 10 ounces, the 10-year mandatory minimum, that was back in 1994, when he was broke. So all I'm saying is, there ain't no smoke without fire. When French Montana posted up and started talking about 5'9", I thought, let me look into this. But looking at the evidence, this man's looking like Jim Jones and Snoop Dogg. Snoop Dogg and Jim Jones are the other dudes who get a whole load of charges, but don't never spend no time in jail. They always get probation. They always get let off of the minimum sentences. That's all I know. Let's call a spade now. Let's be honest. There's going to be, don't get me wrong, there's going to be a whole bunch of 50 Cent fans who are going to be mad, but go and read the evidence. All we know is 50's charges don't never hold no weight. He is the only guy I know who slips out of mandatory minimums. Slips out of them nicely as well. Let's not forget, he didn't just, he served 3 years. He served no time. He went to high school for 6 months. Who do you know gets caught with 10 ounces and goes to high school for 6 months? What? I need to talk to his judge. Or I've got a whole bag of people who need to talk to that judge. That's what we do need. Your boy 50 Cent's been exposed. All this time, he's built his career based on being a gangster. He ain't never been in jail. Now, nor have I, but the difference is, my career isn't, I haven't got a career, but if I had a career, it wouldn't be based on going to jail. You ain't never been in jail. You went to high school for 6 months. This guy's goofy. I'm sorry, 50 Cent's a fraud. He's been exposed. Yeah? French Montana outed him. 50 needs to, listen, all this big gangster business, you ain't never been in jail. How can you be a gangster if you ain't been in jail? But you've been caught for crimes, let's get it right. It's not because 50 Cent's some mastermind criminal who ain't never got caught. You got caught loads of times lacking. But now maybe I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, someone please explain how he didn't get the minimum. That's what we need to know. How is this dude never spent no time in no jail? Jim Jones style, Snoop Doggy Dogg style. This whole industry's full of snake ass, homo ass, weird ass looking goofy dudes. I'm telling you now for free. French Montana exposed him.